We're in Backup Exec 2014, and we've just finished installing the program. Let's go ahead and launch it and review. And we're on a Windows 2008 R2 i5 server with 8 gigabytes of RAM. Looks very similar to the 2014 version, with some differences there. Alright, so this is our dashboard, or our home, and from here we can make various different changes. So we can click on one column to see everything all in one, or we can click 2 columns like it was. We could go 3 columns so we can see everything that way. So there's different ways to do that. You can also check or uncheck certain things, and you can have those show up in the home screen. If we click on the backup and restore, we see that our server is on the list, which is the name of the server is remote host. And we'll move that over a little bit, and we can go to all servers, and this is something new, retired servers. Haven't seen that before. Servers in this group will not be in the all servers group. So apparently we can move servers out of the functional one and move it into the retired one. When we click on this particular server, we see the details of the different hard drives below, whether it's been backed up or not, the status, that kind of thing. And here is the job monitor. From here, this looks very similar to 2012. We can set up various different backups and things like that. But first we have to set up storage. So it sees that there is a disk storage already on here that was used in a previous version of Backup Exec. But if you want, you can go ahead and click on Configure Storage, and we can add different types of storage here. We've got network-based, tape, storage pools. So first thing, before you create a pool, you want to make sure you create a disk storage. So we could import one, or we could just use the one we've got, and we'll just call this 002, which is fine, and we'll make that the E drive. And you can have how many concurrent write operations. That's how many jobs can run at the same time. We'll go ahead and change that to 3, and we'll click Finish. Alright, now if we want, at this point we can also go back in, configure storage, and create a pool that includes these 2 different storages in one, so that way when it fills up one, it will automatically roll over to the second one. Alright, so now that we have our storage, let's go back to backup and restore, and let's go ahead and choose a one-time backup. And we'll click on, under the one-time backup, we'll click Edit. And we've got a lot of different options here. We've got the schedule. We can run it at a specific time or right now. Storage, it sees 2 different devices. We can choose any one, or we can choose a specific one. We can decide how long it should keep the job. We can choose a compression, an encryption type, and a priority. Now the encryption type didn't work very well in 2012. Be interested to see if it works better in 2014. You can also choose a different network interface if you want, if you have multiple interfaces. Notification is nice. You can click on Manage Recipient, and you can add recipients to that list so they can get notified. Verify, typically we turn that off because it makes it take twice as long, but if you want to make sure that it's good, then that's one thing you could do. Delayed catalog, that looks new. Choose when you want to catalog granular recovery technology, and you have different options here. Advanced open file, that's been around for a while. You've got different types of advanced open file options. Advanced disk-based backup. Use off-host backup to move backup processing if you want. Pre and post commands. Files and folders, various different information and options for those. And Microsoft SQL, since there is SQL on this box. Alright, on the left-hand side it shows us all the different drives. And from here we can click on Edit. And by default everything is checked. We're going to go ahead and uncheck everything. We're just going to check just the temp folder. Click OK. And we'll go ahead and click OK again. Now, while that is backing up, we'll see how that goes. We can double click on the job and we can see what the status is of the backup. We can also click on the history to see what's going on there. Backup sets if we create any. Alerts will stop popping up as you start backing things up and seeing if you have any errors. This is the credentials, which you can certainly test to see if they're working. Right now it says unknown just because they haven't been tested yet. And then there's the properties, which allows you to add a description and some other various information about the server that we're backing up. All right, so the backup was successful. That was very quick. Now, if we want, we can go ahead and see by clicking on Restore to see if we can actually see the data and what's on it. So before the button just said Restore, but now it says Restore Backup Sets created by this job. That is new. And we'll click Files, Folders, or Volumes, and we're going to choose Backups from a Backup Set. Sees our backup that we just ran. And there's our files. So actually just one file. So if we want, we can go ahead and choose to restore. Next, to the original location. Next. Restore files that were corrupt or incomplete in the backup. Sure, we'll go ahead and do that. Recreate the directory if it doesn't see it. Overwrite the file on the disk only if it is older. Otherwise, you can restore right over it or skip if the file exists. We'll choose skip just because we know that file is still good. Restore removable storage for older servers. Restore disk quoted data if there are any. And of course, junction points and mount points if you're doing something at a higher level. You can also choose different commands. Next, and we'll just go ahead and choose finish. So I am pleased that the speed is so much faster than 2012 was. And we see that the job status is dispatched and successful. That was super fast, so I'm actually glad to see that. Another new button we see here is the Create Disaster Recovery Disk. So this is right in the menu now, and you can do that in order to create a disaster recovery disk that you can boot from and take you right to the backup. And this is especially useful if your backup is on one server, but your recovery is on another. Another nice thing here I see is convert to virtual. That was in previous versions, but this looks like a similar button to that. We can delete the job, we can edit the job, various different things, options. Now, if you choose, instead of one-time backup, you just choose backup and then backup to disk, it will automatically create two different types of backups, a full and an incremental. And it will automatically schedule them for 11 o'clock at night, a full backup on Friday, and then an incremental on the other ones. If you want, you can change that incremental to one of these other options as well. All right, there's our job monitor. It shows that there's no jobs currently running. It shows that our backup and restore and our storage creation was all successful. So that is encouraging. We can sort and filter jobs if there's a lot of jobs in your list and you don't want to have to hunt for them. And a lot of the same options that we saw before. We can delete a job, view job history, run jobs, things like that. We already saw our storage earlier, and then you can also look at reports from jobs that have already run. Now in the upper left-hand side, you've got some options connecting to another Backup Exec server. Configuration and settings. You can see job defaults, which is nice. So if you want jobs to all have specific types of defaults, such as turning verification off, you can do that from here. Backup Exec settings. Overall, it's definitely running a lot faster than 2012. So here's some of the different settings that you can set, which is nice. Installation and licensing, you can push out installations to other things. You can also click on Live Update and get the latest updates to the program. Just choose Next and Finish, and it'll find the updates if there are any. Semantic Online, getting support, and help and documentation. So that is a review of Backup Exec 2014.